Hello everyone, how you doing tonight? Wazoo here, and this is Throwback Thursday. And I thought, what a cool way to kick off Throwback Thursday than to do some work with Backbone JS. Oh yeah, we're going back. We're going way back. Okay, it's not that far back, but it's back. I think what we'll do is we'll take a look at using Backbone with Webpack, and I'll pick out some kind of template language, maybe none, we'll see. We'll see what we can get done. And we'll just do a simple app, I think, with a little basic router, a view, and yeah, I think getting things set up in Webpack will be a whole lot better than going back to using Dojo. I wouldn't even go back there myself, or require JS. Anyway, let's see what we can do. Okay, let's get to our project. So to get started, okay, 32 point font. How does that grab you? Okay, so first we're gonna npm init our project. So let's make a, I don't know, Webpack Backbone. Let's just do an npm init --y, and that'll give us the basic npm or package.json structure. Cool. That didn't take any time at all. Okay. Now let's go ahead and we will install some things on the npm command line. Let's do npm install save. Let's see, Backbone JQuery _. We'll start with those three. And then we'll proceed to install Webpack, and everything will be rosy, right? Well, usually. Okay. npm install save dev. Let's do Babel core, Babel preset env. Let's do Babel loader for Webpack, and we'll do Webpack itself, Webpack CLI, and Webpack dev server. And we'll let all that install. By the way, links and links to the repo will be in the description down below, so be sure to take a look. You can clone it right away if you want, or follow along with the adventure we're putting ourselves through. Okay, so cut to me finishing up the install. Okay, and we're back. And here's me trying to open this project up in WebStorm. Let me just remind myself how to... Whoa, okay. Let's not do that. Okay. Oh my gosh. No. Okay, there we go. So now let's fix up our scripts so that we can use a npm build and an npm start. Okay, so let's do Webpack -- mode production and leave it at that. Let's do a dev. Actually, you know what? Just to start. And let's do Webpack mode equals development. And might be all that we got to do. Okay. Now let's look at our Webpack config file, because that's usually where everything always starts. Okay, new file, webpack.config.js, no problem. So join. Okay, let's require our path. Let's require Webpack. And this is just more out of habit than, well, we'll see. Okay, so entry, we want to resolve. Let's see, the dir name, and then source index.js. Okay, that looks good. And then let's handle the output. Let's set the output to, we're going to call it bundle.js. And then path to resolve, dir name, And then we're going to make a public static folder, which will usually in a project you'll use it for putting your static assets, like maybe images, things like that. And whoops, module. And then let's go into our rules, which is an array. And then we'll create a test for blank 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 JS, and then okay, loader, Babel loader, and then exclude node modules. Okay. Let's set up our dev server settings. Ugh. Okay. Content base, resolve, dir name, and then to our static public folder, which is the same as our output folder. Okay. And then we're going to load up some plugins. Oops. Plugins, and then it's also an array. And then let's define new Webpack provide plugin. Okay, and then we want the $sign to be JQuery, and we want capital JQuery. And I've only needed this because every single time I try to set up JQuery and Backbone, or jQuery and Webpack in particular, along with the provide plugin, this is the most recommended way to set this up. And then our underscore reference. Okay. This looks all good. So now let's create a source folder. Woohoo! I'm feeling it. All right. Okay. So let's do an index entry point. Okay. Let's see. We'll import our router from app.router. Okay. And then let's set up our jQuery ready module. Okay, so new app router. Let's assume we're going to fill that in. And then Backbone history start. Good old Backbone history start. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create our router. App dot, you know what, let's router.js. Okay. So just like most JavaScript frameworks, Webpack I think was one of the first ones to start off with the concept of a router. I can't remember if there was one before that. AngularJS came afterwards, I believe, and used the same concept in their library. But let's go ahead and create a Backbone router extend. Okay, and let's define a route mapping. So our default route will just be, let's say, new home view. Okay, and let's leave it at that for now. Yoink. And then so that means we're going to need to import a home view from home.view. Works for me. Okay. So this will be the empty path, or the empty route is usually the default route in Backbone. We'll go through some of the other common route patterns as we build this little tiny project out a little bit. But for now, we will leave it at that. The empty one is basically just the default right when you come to the site. Okay, so we are going to export default backbone.view.extend, and then we are going to define a template section in our HTML file, which we will get to. So let's call this, what do we want to call it? view template. Okay, and then we want the HTML, and we want to store template as a string. The main element we want to get into, the main element that we're hooking this view up to, is the root ID. Okay, and then we'll have an initialize, and just call render. Okay. Oops, and then render. Let's do HTML equals this dot template and empty parameters for now, and then this el.html is our HTML, and then always return this in the Backbone render. Okay, we're cooking with gas. Pretty soon we'll have something to show. Okay, so remember back in our Webpack config, well, I'll just bring it up. We were creating a public folder that we are going to put the production build of this little tiny application into. And it's also a static folder, a folder that we'll use for static assets. So if we want to have things like images or our like our robots.txt file, our sitemap, anything like that, that will be in the static folder. So for now, let's do public, and then we are going to drop in our index.html. Okay. And then we are going to put in our usual, I'm sure you've seen this a million times in your own projects, so maybe cut to me filling more of this in. Okay. And then UTF-8. Woo! Okay. Meta content equals width equals device. Width initial scale equals 1. Okay. Name equals viewport. And I cut and paste this header string, this header block pretty much every single time I create a new index.html from the Bootstrap documentation. So old muscle memory dies hard, I guess. Okay, so here's our root ID. Okay, and then we had called it a template. Is it a view template? Let's see, what did we call it back in our view? View template. Okay, view template, and type is text HTML, and then we want to do something like h1 hello. Let's start with that. Okay, and then let's also put in a reference to our bundle and load it in as we get started. Okay, so when we start our Webpack server, our Webpack dev server, it's going to be referencing this public folder, which will have this HTML file, which will be loading this bundle script, which we are compiling from this entry point. Okay, so let's make sure everything is kind of here. Home view, view template, which is back in index, the script ID right there. Okay, so let's, do we get a window here? Oh, we do get a window. Okay, npm start. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm sure it'll work the first time, right? Okay, how come it stopped? Webpack mode equals development. Okay. Oh, of course. Serve. There we go. Okay, got it. Thank you, IDE. Okay. Nice. Let's pull up our browser. And let's go to 8080. Hit F12. Okay, make sure that, okay, so we only get a 404 on our favicon, which always happens because we're not really specifying it. Okay, so we see hello. Excellent. Okay, so now let's build out our template just a little bit more. and let's create sort of a really cheesy navigation menu. So we want to do href to bang slash, actually we can just leave it at that. We'll leave it at the root. Let's see, for home, and then we'll create like an about menu link. Okay, so we're going to the about route, about. Okay, so that means, and then what we're gonna do here, we're gonna do something really cool. We are going to create a message. Let's call it a greeting. Greeting with our template language. So we're now creating a greeting variable in our view template, which we will make use of in the view. Okay. So now we have a home view, and we're going to be creating an about view. So let's go ahead and let's just declare it here, about.view, and let's say here we're going to say about, or about, however you want to say it, new about view. Okay, so now we've got the about, and let's do about.view.js, and then we can really cut and paste everything from the home view, put it in the about view, except, okay, we want to keep this, everything stays the same, the view template stays the same, and there's going to be a bug, and let's see if you can figure out where this bug is going to be. Okay, everything looks okay. Okay, nothing changes there. And okay, Webpack is still running. So let's refresh. Uh-oh. Let's see, can we zoom in on that? Does that zoom in? Oh, it doesn't zoom in on the dev tools. Okay, it says greeting is not defined if you can't read that. So why did that happen? Well, it's because in our template, we have our greeting variable. We're trying to print out our greeting variable here in the template, but we are not passing it through in the on the render method. So let's do a greeting of, let's just call it homepage. And then on the about page, let's do a greeting about page. Okay, let Webpack run again. And we get home page and a home link and about. So let's try to go to the about, and we go to the about. Let's go back home, and we can go back home. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, now there's another cool thing about, so what happens if we try and put in, I want to go to contact us. Uh-oh, we got a problem. So we can't really handle any other URLs except for those ones. So what Backbone router allows is, let's just call it error view, but we could call it 404 view. Okay, whatever you want to call it. So Backbone router provides a splat. So we can call it like this. And splat path, it could be splat actions. So basically the splat handles any route request that is not fulfilled by either the empty default or the about menu. And so this one will be the error view. Okay, so now let's create the error view. And then once again, we can cut and paste from about, and we can create the error. And we can call this page not found. How about that? Okay, so then let's go ahead and recompile. We'll come back here. Contact us, page not found. Let's go back home. Let's go, the about works. Oh, I want to go to my profile. Oh, page not found. Very, very, very cool. This is an extremely cool project. Look how easy this was to, okay, easy. Okay. I mean, this is hiding. A lot of the time, I would usually spend setting up Webpack, setting up a project, which I've done in the past. Every time I work on if I haven't touched anything in Backbone for a while, then it usually involves a period of re-googling the same amount of documentation in terms of just setting up Webpack. So what I've got here is a shortcut to help you all out. Let's see, that still works, right? Oh, I'll just leave it. Okay, so now what can we do? Okay, so now we can also show the build. So if we do an npm run build, then it'll create a production build for us and deposit everything into that public folder. So look at that, nice and slick, ready to FTP or deploy to our favorite AWS bucket where our web server could be running. That's one option. Okay, so what else can we add in here? Okay, we've got a greeting. So one thing we could do, I got it. So what we can do is we can even clean this up even a little bit more. So we've got these three views here, and you may notice that the only thing really different is this greeting. But the rest of this code is all the same. It's all the same boilerplate. We load in our template reference, our element, and our greeting, right? So what about if we just created this as one view? Okay, let's just call it app.view.js, and it will take in parameters. So first, let's start with app.view.js. Okay, so let's first start with this, and then let's take in some options. Okay, and then let's options equals options, or empty object, which really won't help us. We're gonna have to do something with that. So okay, so what we can do is we can say we can pass in the greeting as a parameter. So we can type in here this.options greeting. Okay, so then what we can do is maybe we don't even need that. I think by default Backbone stores the options that are initialized. Okay, so let's go app view. So now in the router, when we're specifying home view, let's do greeting is homepage. And we'll call this, we won't call it home view, of course. We are working with app view from app.view. Okay, and then let's keep this just in case I'm wrong. I could be wrong. New app view, and then greeting homepage. Okay, so let's see how that works. This is pretty cool. Okay, so let's go to our home. Greeting of undefined. Cannot read greeting of undefined. Okay, so we are so how about this? Options equals options. Why don't we try that? Maybe we do have to store the options. Homepage. Very cool. Okay, so that means we can get rid of that. We can copy this down, and this can be the about page, and then error page. So let's do about page, and then page not found. Okay. And let's see what happens. Home, about, back to home, back to about. And let's go to contact us. Page not found. Ta-da! That's pretty cool, eh? You gotta admit. Okay. Just a few lines of okay, not just a few lines. A few files of JavaScript. We can even get rid of some of these files now. Home view, yoink yoink, app view, about view, about view, and we have got our app. That is pretty darn cool. Cool. So there we have it, everyone. Throwback Thursdays, episode 1. And we've gone through and created a Backbone application using Webpack. I think it's Webpack 5. And we're not using any, well, okay, we're using the default underscore templating language. But we could just as easily pull in something like handlebars, mustache, or EJS, or any of your favorite templating language. Okay, so my name is Wazoo. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, where this month I'm doing a 30 in 30 challenge. 30 videos in 30 days. Or is there 31 in July? I think 30. So 30 videos in 30 days of July. Hope to see you all at the very end of it. Peace.